In this video, we're going to discuss about how to create queries using two methods. You can either go into Tools Configure and go to your Main or Info tab, right click on the data grid view, open it up, bring in your SQL queries, right click, and you can add a SQL query. Fill out the necessary information here, so you can type NW for Northwind, and you can specify the kind of query that you want to perform here. We're going to use an SQL server. We're going to browse for our SQL server, or you can just type it in. And we're also going to select a database from our server by specifying Northwind. You can test the connection. Everything looks good. And then what you could do is specify a query. So we'll just say select star from employees. And then you want to create the columns. And you can see what's happened is it's created for each column that it found employee ID, last name, first name, title, etc. And I can go in here and specify variables if I want to use menus with them, etc. Another way to create a query is to use the configuration wizard. And when you launch the configuration wizard, if you're using Enterprise Edition, you can use the systems query option to connect into your SMS or SCCM server, and it will actually pre-populate a query for you. Or you can use a custom SQL query, or a custom query which allows you to specify an ODBC data source as well as a SQL server. So in this example, we're just going to use a custom SQL query. We're going to give it a name. So this time we'll call it Northwind. And we are going to choose to display the columns in our main quadrant. So I'm going to click Next. And similar to the configure option, it allows us to browse our network for any SQL server available. We're going to select this one. You can choose to use SQL authentication or Windows authentication. If you do use SQL authentication, the password will in fact be encrypted in your XML, so you don't have to worry about that being in clear text. We're going to select the database, and then we're going to select either the table from the database, or we can customize our SQL statement right here. Let's go ahead and select this time the actually let's go customers this time. And from here, notice we can select the columns that we want to make available. And we click Next. We can rearrange the columns whatever way we want to. And we can even specify, assuming that this is a database where we want to launch menus from using wildcard variables, we can tag our columns now, for one being the computer name, one being the username. Of course, we can go in and make changes to that later if we want. Click Next. It's going to give us a summary of what's going to happen. We click Finish. Now we've got this Northwind query that we just created, and I click the Execute Query, and you can see we've now executed our query. So if you have any sort of data anywhere, this is a quick way to sort information from any old database. So if you want to go back in and configure your new query, you can just simply go back in, click on Northwind. There's all the information that we specified. So we can go in and change our query if you'd like. Maybe we don't really care about the company name, so we can go in and delete that. And we can press Apply and then create columns again, which is going to recreate the columns for us. Press OK, and now the company name is now gone. And that's how you configure queries within Maven.